Hello, you're watching the business headlines on HW News with me, Ali Azhar. India has an infrastructure deficit. This is a well-known fact. When it comes to the services industries, we're fairly decent compared to our global counterparts. Banking, IT, stock market penetration, etc. We have some standing in the global scheme of things. But unfortunately, when it comes to infrastructure, we guys are nowhere in the reckoning. And just to be sure, this deficit is a tremendous opportunity for anyone willing to step up and grab it. It is this very reason that our Prime Minister, in his Independence Day speech this year, announced that his government will invest a massive, and get this figure right, 100 lakh crore rupees on developing modern infrastructure, such as modern ports, highways, railways, airports, hospitals, and educational institutions. This amount will be invested in furtherance of achieving our target to become a $5 trillion economy in the next 5 years. Keeping in tune with this theme, one of the most, if not the most important aspect of a nation's infrastructure is building of roads and highways. It can be classified as one of the core infrastructure projects and aids connectivity in a big way, upon which many industries also depend, such as logistics, or the transport industry, etc. And in India, the nodal agency responsible for construction and management of highways is National Highway Authority of India, or NHAI. And just so I don't leave anything to guesswork, it's a hot mess as of now. This recent slowdown hasn't spared anybody, and the Highway Authority is no exception. Just to give you some perspective, the target of 6,000 kilometers of highways that NHAI set for itself in the current year now seems like a tall order. The slow pace of ordering in the first 6 months of this year has seen only 600 kilometers of orders awarded. And not only this, like most other public sector units, NHAI is also buried under a mountain of debt, which currently it is unable to service. A comparison of the previous few years will open your eyes as to the massive increase in the amount of borrowings our Highway Authority has undertaken. In March 15, it was close to 25,000 crores. March 16, it was 45,270 crores. March 17 saw it rise to 75,385 crores. In March 18, it shot up to 1,21,327 crores. And as you can see, by March 19, it was a massive 1,78,000 crore rupees. What's even more disturbing is that by March 2020, this figure is expected to be somewhere in the range of 2,50,000 crores. Make no mistake, these are deemed to be unsustainable levels of debt, much beyond what the Highway Authority signed up for, especially considering the fact that at such levels, yearly interest expenditure is expected to be somewhere in the range of 25,000 crore rupees. And add to that, maintenance costs are also to be factored in. Its earnings, you ask? Annual toll collection charges are roughly in the vicinity of just 10,000 crores. However, probably the most disturbing figure is its contingent liabilities. According to an article released by Money Life, the figure quoted by the chairman of NHAI is conservative. And if sources are to be believed, the contingent liabilities are around 3 lakh crore rupees, which consist mainly of court cases and arbitrations against NHAI. And just to be sure, this figure is over and above its borrowings. This points to a grim state of affairs, and things could take a turn for the worse very soon if the government doesn't step up. Also, it is important to realize that the NHAI issue has a bearing on the resolution of ILNFS, as it owes the beleaguered infrastructure company a substantial sum of money. Just how our apex body for road construction got into this hot mess is due to a number of factors. Of course, the economic slowdown has played a big part, but also the liquidity crisis, the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections, the general apathy of banks to lend to the troubled infrastructure sector, and the lack of private participation due to unviability of projects taken up by NHAI. However, in our opinion, the two most important reasons are firstly, one of the primary sources of road contracts arise out of government spending. That is, when the center allocates budgets and spends on public expenditure. Now, however, things are so precarious that the government doesn't have any money left to spend on public expenditure. Therefore, orders have dried up. Secondly, and most importantly, in 2013, the Congress passed the Land Acquisition Bill, which mandated that the government would pay 4 times the price of any land acquired for public projects. This made life very tough for NHAI, which now saw its land cost ballooning to 30% of overall cost of projects. Things have gotten to such a point that the Prime Minister's office has suggested that NHAI should discontinue constructing roads and monetize its assets. Reportedly not happy at the rising levels of debt, the PMO suggested NHAI to become an asset management company, to which NHAI turned around and said that every cent it borrowed was after approval of the Finance Ministry, and being a public sector enterprise, the government was apprised of all its borrowings. It seemed like the blame games were on. When a sector such as this suffers, it obviously has a snowball effect. And not entirely surprisingly, equipment manufacturers have taken a beating. Therefore, a contraction in road projects awarded has taken a toll on demand for excavators, bulldozers, cranes, black hole loaders, and the like. The sector is expected to end this calendar year with a decline of 15 to 18%, which is the sharpest in many years. This slowdown has prompted manufacturers of construction equipment to shut down plants or recalibrate their plans. So, all in all, this is a worrying matter, as one of the country's top infrastructure enterprises is nearly on the verge of collapse. And at times such as these, we can ill afford it. The system will not be able to absorb another shock like IL&FS. The question to be asked is that why hasn't the government stepped in and tried to bail out NHAI? I mean, after all, the Prime Minister has promised 100 lakh crore will be spent on infrastructure. Can't they allocate just 2,50,000 crores, considering the upper limit of course, and rescue their crown jewel? Or have they already lost steam? Thank you for watching HW News. This is me signing off. Have a great day.